And this podcast was brought to you guys by Anchor. If you guys haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast for no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. And with that being said, go download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Peace. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Medina podcast. It's your host, Chris Medina. Thank you for everyone that's tuning in. Today, we're talking about clean energy. It's a hot topic right now. Before we even start, I want to let everyone know, because obviously this is a podcast to, help people become better investors and just help the average Joe out, And I want to tell people this. The energy industry will single-handedly make the most billionaires and millionaires within the next 10 to 20 years from my predictions. Now, hear me out. If you have already been seeing, some of these stocks are ready. They're just ready to amp up. And I'm telling you right now, the thing is just that their time has not come. We're going through a depression right now. People are focusing on other things. And I'm telling you, once we get over this mountain, guys, these stocks are going to go flying high. And the reason for that is obviously global warming. And it's real. Anyone who tells you that is not real, they're just bluffing. Call them out on their BS, because it is real. And they're saying maybe we have about 9 years. I say 5. And some of these companies are ready to supply the growing demand for renewable energy. And Tesla is one of them. If anyone has been seeing the stock market, Tesla hit $2,000. I think it was Friday. Today it was hovering over 2,100. It's crazy. And the reason Tesla stock is, hitting all-time highs at that level, it's not because, the company's earning. It's because investors think the company's future earnings will match the price. It's not, because it's doing something crazy in the earnings right now. It's none of that. You go check their balance sheet. The earnings do not match the price of the stock. That's one of the reasons why they're actually going to do a 5-to-1 stock split, which I think it's great. Elon Musk was on Twitter the day talking about, that the stocks were too high. I agree. Because then it takes the opportunity away from the average Joe to get in. Maybe you say, I don't want to spend $2,000 on a stock, but, I would spend $400, $500, and that's great. It makes great opportunities for everyone. The reason why Tesla also is going all the way up, other than the creation of the Gigafactory, the pre-sales of the semi-truck, the Cybertruck also crazy, it's because of his solar energy business. And that we're talking about the other day how Tesla took the name Motors off the second part of their name because it wants to be known as specifically as an energy company. And that's right, because sooner or later the energy business of Tesla is going to be worth more than the electric vehicle. Right now there's a hype around the electric vehicles, but the energy business, what investors and the average Joe need to be looking at, because this is going to hit the roof sooner or later. And the reason for this is there's too much CO2 emissions out in the atmosphere right now. There's too much. And right now, you would go to Cali, they're saying there's too much traffic over there, too much vehicles. The number one cause of global warming is driving. It is driving. And that's what Tesla's getting ready to do. Once the government starts cracking down on this, ladies and gentlemen, there's going to be some serious repercussions for some companies. They're going to start telling people, hey, listen, you cannot drive your diesel car. Is just not going to happen. You have to switch to electric vehicle because the planet is dying. And sooner or later, the government is just going to put policies in place to just say, hey, listen, you cannot drive your diesel car. You have to go get an electric vehicle. I've heard many stories where people tell me, hey, listen, I don't care. I like my diesel car. I love gasoline. I don't like electric vehicles. I've gotten in, one of them, and I just did not like it. And, the fact of the matter is that sooner or later, the government is going to start cracking down. They're going to put policies in place, like I said, and they're not going to let you drive because this thing is getting serious. Andrew Cuomo did an article and he posted on LinkedIn where he said, hey, we're looking for we're looking to supply about 4,000 megawatts of clean renewable electricity to New York City over the next 20 to 40 years. And we're looking for companies, they're trying to do it through wind farming, solar energy, and I think that's great, so they're looking for. And he also said in another article where he said, listen, we're going to stop using buses that run on CO2. We're going to stop using cars. We're going to do a complete transformation within the next 20 years, and we're going to start supplying electric vehicles, electric buses to the city. Well, to the state entirely. And what does that say? Hey, listen, a lot of these companies are going to start making money specifically off electric vehicles, and the ones that are ready to supply it are the first runners up to make the most money. And what is that going to do? It's going to push the price up. So, that right there is an opportunity for investors. I urge everyone to please start doing your research on electric vehicles, clean energy, because these are the first runners up within the next decade to make the most money. So, go do your research. I think the first runners up are automotive companies, because the first problem that they're going to start addressing is electric vehicles. I personally think this is gonna be fun. It's gonna be dope. They're integrating computer software into these cars. Autonomous driving is gonna be crazy. Elon Musk's net worth, ladies and gentlemen, went up $50 billion just because of electric vehicles. I don't think you guys heard me. Elon Musk's net worth went up $50 billion over the last month because of electric vehicles. Just because of electric vehicles, ladies and gentlemen. And you guys need to be checking this out, because these companies are going to go through the roof once this depression is over. Let me be clear, guys. Tesla is not a cyclical company. Tesla is a growth company, and the only reason Tesla is a growth company is because of his energy sector. It's because of his energy sector, because of his clean energy sector. It's going to continue to grow and grow. I'm saying, they're already saying, on CNBC and a lot of these other channels that, they're putting a price tag on Tesla for a future valuation of $5,000. I'm saying it could easily break that and go to $10,000 from what we're going to see. It's going to, once the government says, listen, things are getting way too hot, things are getting way too hectic out here, we need to start implementing more policies to make people transfer to clean and renewable energy. Tesla's going to be the first one to say, hey, look, we could supply it. We could supply it. Other companies are not ready to supply it. There's companies like GM, BMW, etc., that they're only coming out maybe with 1 or 2 vehicles. Tesla has a whole, sector of vehicles ready for the customer. So once government start cracking down on this, Tesla's going to be ready, because Tesla's already known for clean and renewable energy. So as soon as, people say electric vehicles, the first thing that's going to pop up to people's mind is going to be Tesla, because it has been branding itself behind the fact that it's a company that's trying to make people switch to electric vehicles, clean and renewable energy. And that's what people need to be looking at. Biden has been talking about that he wants to dump $4 trillion into clean energy if he becomes president. I don't agree with the fact that the man is becoming president, because, they're saying if he wins, there's going to be a huge bear market. I'm pretty sure there will be a huge bear market, because if people have been reading, he has been saying, hey, listen, I'm going to make a huge dramatic shift into increases taxes for everybody, specifically the rich. And if you're an investor, also, he's going to make your life more living hell, because he's going to increase the capital gains tax, which is absolutely crazy. I can't believe this guy's even saying this, but that's a whole conversation for another video. And if Trump wins, they're saying there's going to be a bull market. So obviously, if you're a trader, you should be looking into this, because there's going to be massive amounts of opportunity when the situation comes. In regards to Biden, there was a Wall Street Journal article where it said, investors betting that Joe Biden will win the presidential election are buying up clean energy stocks, sending the shares of some of these companies to all-time highs. And like I said before, the energy industry is going to blow up very soon. a lot of these stocks are going to go on a huge bull market. If you would go and actually see some of the stocks that the article was talking about, you know, you would see a massive bull run, and they're imitating basically Tesla's, you know, bull run also. Like, they're just spiking up out of nowhere. And you would go and see some of these people's balance sheet, well, some of these companies' balance sheets, and what would you see? They haven't made any revenue yet, guys. They haven't made any revenue. All of this is just, investors are just enthusiastic about the future earnings of some of these companies. That's why these stocks are just starting to just spike up. And I'm pretty sure they're going to come back down to earth pretty soon. And that's going to be a snag for investors. You know, you need to be aware of these kind of situations, because, you know, some of these companies are going to be the ones supplying clean energy to cities, you know, to rural areas, suburban areas. And that's going to increase their price, because they're going to increase their earnings. It's all in earnings games, guys. And, you know, like I said before, the whole reason this sector is going to increase is not because they're also going to come out with a lot of cool things. I think this is going to, you know, change the game, period. But it's going to change the game because governments are going to crack down on this. You have been seeing this already in California. You're already seeing it in New York State with Andrew Cuomo sending out all these articles. He's already getting ready to start cracking down and putting policies in place to start making people purchase clean energy. And that's just where it's going. You know, I've been seeing outside, I haven't been seeing Con Edison too much. I've been seeing, you know, some of these companies just the state outsourcing some of the supply to like new companies, you know, and I've been seeing they're starting to put solar energy on some of these buildings, you know, already. A lot of people are just, who have homes, are putting, you know, solar panels on their roof. And I think it's great, you know, because sooner or later the planet will get too hot. You know, they're saying that inner cities will be, you know, doubling within the next 10 to 20 years. So that means the demand for electricity will increase, and we just cannot stay on the current way of electricity which we are using, which is obviously oil. You know, it's harming the atmosphere, and it's not going to do us good down the line. So clean and renewable energy is the way to go, guys. I urge you to do your research, because I think this is going to be an area for massive amounts of opportunity. You know, Tesla's not going to be the only one in the automotive sector that I think is going to blow up. I think they're all going to blow up, guys. I think they're all going to go on a massive bull run, you know, just specifically on electric vehicles. You know, I forgot to mention, you know, hydro vehicles, but I'm going to do another podcast on that. You know, you have companies now that are coming out like Nikola Tesla, which already got like 2,500 pre-orders on some of the trucks from a sanitation company. Sanitation is a whole nother sector, and I'm gonna leave that for another, you know, video, like I said. But I just wanted to touch on those topics, you know, for today's podcast, guys. Please let me know if you want me to talk about anything else. Go check out my podcast on Anchor or Spotify. And with that being said, till next time, much love.